No shaker cups, white teas.
Just a couple of plain white teas here, eh?
Got mine tucked in.
I'd hate to be Delilah around this right now. That's all I gotta say.
I wouldn't want to be Delilah either.
She's just getting sang to
All the time.
non-stop. Doesn't matter where we are. A
Imagine
thousand miles is nothing.
imagine walking in and everyone knew your name.
I just want to know what it's like in New York City. That's all.
Oh, I'm going there next week, so I will let you know.
Well, there you go. Let me know if you see Delilah.
I'll try to find her.
Oh, but first though, she's gonna need to know your name.
I mean,
You're Andrew. You are.
you are
I'm Josh.
together.
We are
Dads.
who swing.
Thing. Josh, reading books.
Yeah, I am. What do you got there?
I got a Ryan Holiday. It's like a little short collection of kind of his anecdotes, and these ones are all built on discipline, which is timely because I'm getting lazy.
Buddy, you gotta stop that.
That's what we got to do.
There's no magic antidote. It's funny because people like will ask me like, how do you get up at like 4 a.m. to go running? Like you just do it. There's nothing else to it. Literally, the alarm goes off. You just gotta sit right up. It sucks, but you'll feel good like almost immediately after you start. Maybe not immediately after, but like at, at least really closely after you start, you'll appreciate it a lot more than if you were just to sleep for that extra half hour.
You're never quite as cozy as you are when you shouldn't be, when you know you should be getting up, but you're not. However, like you said, once you get going, it usually
Oh
that
yeah.
way.
And are you going to be tired later on in the day? Absolutely. You know what? Power through. It's where the gains are made, both mental and physical.
You'd be tired if you didn't do it though, too. Let's
That
not ourselves.
that is true. And you'll probably be even more tired because now your body's not used to whatever it is that you didn't do. If that makes sense, right? Like if you're used to doing something and you didn't, and then you're like, yeah, I got this.
Mental
Yep.
anguish on
Anguish.
because you didn't do it and you're trying to figure out when you're going to get the chance to do it. So yeah, that's actually I bought a couple of his books. I actually really like his writing. I find his social media presence and some of his worldviews a little too kumbaya, a little too granola, but
Ooh.
and so I have this one and I have one about courage that I'll get to after, but destiny is from discipline. What do you got going on?
I got a total different avenue than yours. I was just reading. I'm about 100 pages left of Who We Are by Murray Sinclair. I was just telling you about before. He's the honorable, I guess, the late honorable Murray Sinclair. He died in 2024, I believe, but he was the commissioner for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for the government of Canada.
So
It's
are
a bit of a
you
good read. Yeah, it's little. The first half is about him and his life, like almost like a memoir or autobiography, and then the last part of it, the latter part, is kind of like a real brief, like shrunken synopsis of the TRC itself, right? The Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So it's been an interesting read for sure, eye opening.
are you reading that because you're struggling with your own truth and your own reconciliation?
No, I just I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was listening to a podcast once, and he was a guest speaker on there, and they brought him on, and I just really, I it's funny. I loved the way he spoke. I just liked listening to him, and I just happened to be at Shoppers Drug Mart picking up medication one night. I happened to look over at the book section. I always pop by as I'm walking out, and there it was. I'm like, wow, this is clearly serendipity. This is destiny. I need to get it, and I did.
Maybe someone at that Shoppers listened to the same podcast and they put it out because
Like we
they.
got to order this in.
Oh man, I want to stay there for a second. Sounds like a great book, and I guilty of that too. If I find someone I like listening to,
Mhm.
I'll buy their book. I did the same thing the last book I just bought as well. But finding a good read at a Shoppers or an airport bookstore where you know the price is way more than it's going to be on Amazon or
Oh
wherever
yeah,
have it, and you're like, I can leave with it now is always a fun little rush.
100%. And yeah, I don't know if you're the way you like style your book reading. For me, I do like serious fun, serious fun. right? So like this next one here, I've got like a little cozy murder mystery already lined up once I'm done this, right? So I got to power through the last 100 pages here, and then to take a picture of it, of course, because who else is going to believe it at the end of the year that I've read X amount of books if I don't take a picture?
Are you
And
tripping?
you're just like, Josh, you didn't read 25 books. There's no way.
No, I'm so guilty of that. I love just showing off how well I can read.
But here's the thing, though, is I was like in January, I was on a huge pace, right? I did like 3 books. But then I got heavy into I'll admit it, the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros, uh, because my wife recommended it. But it was all audiobooks. So though it's like 4 books crushed within like a month of like that was like all of February and the first bit of March. But it's audiobooks, so it really doesn't count, does it?
Can't. I mean, I guess you could screenshot it, but it's a little.
But did you read it?
Yeah,
Right?
did you digest it the same way?
I don't know if I did.
No. I mean, you can kind of do a couple things at once if you're doing the audiobook, where real
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
real
use it as a
really not
time
just
killer.
sitting on the couch like listening, whereas that's what you
Mhm.
be doing with a book. You can't be doing can't be driving and reading a book.
Shouldn't be. You should not be driving reading books. You'll get yourself in a little bit of trouble. A little spot of trouble. And it's just dangerous. Don't do that, guys.
No, don't do that. If we go back, it's not Douglas Murray, it's Murray
Murray
Sinclair.
Sinclair, yep.
Do you think he's a gentleman who displayed the traits of discipline to get to where he was?
Oh, I'd say so for sure. Like he had some pretty hefty adversity to get through, right? And it's so I mean his story yeah, itself is great, right? And his family story and how to get to where he was and like he was only the second Indigenous judge in Canada at the time. So, he definitely had some hurdles and some barriers to break down there alone.
So maybe it's fitting if you want.
He stayed the course, squared away, stayed the course.
Yeah, just kept showing up every day, regardless of what was in front.
So, Mr. Holiday, you're reading one right there about destiny is or discipline is destiny.
Basically, yeah, yeah.
So when he talks like when I hear discipline, I just automatically go to like someone with a military background like Jocko Willink, who writes a lot and has his own podcast. Does is that Ryan's background?
Not at all. Like I
I didn't
said,
think so when you said
he's
Kumbaya.
way more kumbaya. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he's very anti-gun, anti-military kind of thing. I think he lives in Texas, which is also kind of funny, and not Austin, Texas. Like he's in the heart of Texas, kind of thing. But
Mhm.
no, not his. He's not a Navy SEAL podcast guy.
No, well, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think. I mean, he
I
he
mean, it's
he pulls a lot from Stoic, and he might reference the odd he references like old military leaders kind of
yeah,
thing. A lot of content from the Romans, but yeah, he's not on the warpath.
still an interesting listener read, but maybe not as like intensive personal stories.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm not a serious and fun, I'm just all serious. You won't catch me with any of
Yeah,
that love not Josh.
yeah, you hate a good time, right? You gotta stay uncomfortable, and you don't leave that. You don't deviate,
I don't
right?
want I don't want this imagination getting all crazy and stuff.
You're not talking about flying dragons and fighting goblins.
No, I don't, and I don't want flying goblins and fighting dragons.
Well, that would be terrifying.
So what I'm getting at is, and it's silly that I spend money on these books because they all say the same thing. Really, that's what they are, is saying the same kind of thing over and over again. But
Hmm.
I don't know how many times I need to hear the message, right? Or I guess I'm picking little nuggets off from each and trying to implement those.
I don't know. I think just reading literally anything, whether it's only like fun or
Mm.
I mean imagination smut as I think you would have put it there. But or if you read that, I mean the thing is you're developing your brain regardless of what you're reading, right? Like it's and I think there is something for me in like the nostalgia because we're millennials and that's all we really are is like we're just escaping or trying to get to a time that doesn't exist anymore. But when you have a tangible item like a book in your hand and you're literally reading the lines page by page, flipping the page by your hand. I'm not knocking our Kindle friends out there, but like there is something like that puts you present in that moment too, right? Which is awesome.
Just one less thing to charge. I tried the Kindle, it just wasn't for me, and I just would. It feels weird. Imagine I'm going to plug this in so it could work.
Right? Like, it's one of those oldest forms of oldest pastimes, right? Like for centuries, people have just been reading
And writing.
and writing, reading people's writing, I would say.
That's
Even I would hazard to claim that.
very astute of you. Want to set up a camera or something and then have my wife come into the room and just catch me reading some smut,
That's right.
just to,
'Cause I know it happens.
just to see her reaction. Like, what are you?
Yeah, what are you doing? I don't know, man. Also, like in my head too, I played up like, do you get yourself comfortable? Like, do you get like your favorite tea set up? Do you put on your hush puppy indoor house slippers and sit in your favorite chair with a lamp on, sit down to read? Like, do you set up like a situation for yourself?
If I can, but a lot of the times, I might have to be reading in not so much a hurry, but I might be reading in an airport or after I've boarded a plane or in a hotel room or just in between. Like sometimes it's at a restaurant while the food's coming out if I'm by myself, right? And it's just like I just gotta do it for 20 minutes, and I don't always have the same 20 minutes allotted to it. I'd love to do it early on, but sometimes I get other stuff to cackle. So just get it done.
But I just had a wild image in my head of like you being out with your family, and then you're just, hold on a second. This is a good chapter. Yeah, just put on your headphones, your noise canceling headphones. But can you guys keep it down, please?
Can you order me the soup?
That's awesome. Are you a soup guy when you go out?
Not really. No, actually, I think now that sometimes depends on the soup. If it's a chowder, like a seafood chowder, I'm in.
You love a good chowder. Hates to see you coming, eh? All
Well,
that time spent in New England.
we have to be in an appropriate setting too. I mean, I'm not ordering the seafood chowder at Swiss Chalet.
If you're visiting the prairies, you're not necessarily your first go to is going to be a chowder, seafood chowder. But if you're in like Massachusetts,
In the old Massachusetts, Rhode Islands, yeah, I might. And I take that back. I could be talked into a soup.
look at you go, eh?
Not always though.
Yeah, I'm not an overly huge soup guy. I mean, if I go to Ricky's for lunch, I might grab the grilled cheese and soup just because.
You dip your grilled cheese in the soup.
I have been known to dip a grilled cheese in a soup before, a
That is
time or two.
that is actually where the soup comes into play big time. If there's sandwiches being brought to the table.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't turn down chicken noodle soup while bundled up on an old couch watching Price is Right on like a blustery February morning if I'm homesick from school, but
I love dipping my sandwich. I know saying, but I,
I,
I love dipping my. I almost want to have soup and sandwiches now today for lunch.
I love it because I was wondering like is he gonna piggyback on the Price is Right being homesick from school in the 90s? You're like, no, I'm going back to dipping my sandwich in a soup.
I'm still kind of stuck on seeing my wife's reaction if she asks me what I'm reading and I say Twilight. I get real into werewolves and vampires all of a sudden.
So it's funny. I was so my wife got me into listening to like the Fourth Wing series, like I was telling you. And at first, I don't know how I didn't catch on to this,
No idea,
but
no idea what the fourth wing or the
that's
third.
fine. You'll get there then where the story's going. And I'm listening to it like, oh, this is awesome. Dragons. This is cool, right? They're in like a war college. This is in like a alternate dystopian universe.
Harry Potter for adults.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then all of a sudden, it just like launches into this crazy sex scene, and I'm listening to an audiobook on my way to work, and I'm like, what? But the crazy thing is, like this first sex scene doesn't come to you like three quarters through like the first book, and it's like 23 hours, right? So I'm already heavily invested, but I've already recommended this book, this audiobook to multiple people at work. So I literally had to wait till they come back and be like, all right, man, listen. And it was a guy too, and I'm like, which is probably better for me because if it than than
Yeah,
an alternative, right? But like, I honestly thought this was just about dragons and fighting. And it was funny because he listened to it. He's like, dude, how did you not pick up? Like, can't you hear how she's like describing these two guys like every time they walk past her or something, right? It's like two guys pining for her attention, right?
gotcha.
And I'm like, yeah, that's on me for sure. Now I just got like tunnel vision dragons. It's completely just side. Didn't even acknowledge the other part.
You thought that the main quest was the side quest, or the
Yeah,
side
for sure.
quest wasn't really the dragons at all.
No, so next thing you know, I'm like, probably 70 hours deep into this book series.
Oh, you haven't
Just
stopped. You haven't
No,
stopped.
I'm done. I'm done. I've gotten all four of them done now. But it's like, yeah. Now I'm into dragon romance. I don't even know what it would be.
What is it like listening to a sex scene versus reading one?
I
And
can tell you right now, the fella that voices in this one does a little bit of too much moaning. So slightly uncomfortable, I guess. Would I would
you know how you could hear people's phone calls in their cars at Sinclair?
just picture me at a red light.
Guaranteed you're not listening to that while you're waiting in the Timmy's parking lot.
You know what? No shame. Just fully send it. Just arm around the chair, just hand on the steering wheel, just owning it. You're not gonna believe me, but I would just start skipping ahead 30 seconds at a time. Was
I don't.
as it all progressed. Yeah, I know you're not gonna believe it.
You're all in, man. You're totally plugged into
I
Drake.
go back and replay and re-listen to each time.
What did he do here? Oh, okay.
Listen,
Murray. I have to assume Murray Sinclair doesn't have any good sex scenes.
no, not at all. But it's funny because my sister always brings up this one of the so when I was a kid we used to go to our family cottage in Wasaga Beach once or twice a summer, right, for a week at a time. And I found this book and I'm like, oh, this book looks like it'd be cool. I'm going to describe the cover page before I tell you the title. All right. So it had this girl, and it looked like she was dressed up almost Western-y, kind of like, but it was also like late '90s, early 2000s. So it could just be a regular '90s mom style of clothes. But she had a gun, a big gun in her hand. She was kind of like up against the wall, looking around a corner. Okay, this looks interesting. I'm a young guy, or 13 years old or whatever. And then the title was "The Secretary Gets Her Man." Like, okay, cool. Like, this person's out on the hunt. She was. Different kind of hunt though. And so here I was thinking I'm going to be reading like a mystery novel or something. Maybe she was she's joining
Hot.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up just romance novel. Not it wasn't like straight into smut, which was okay, but it was an actual just romance novel.
What's the
And I didn't finish it right back then because I mean back in the late '90s, early 2000s, toxic masculinity. I'm not going to be watching or reading a romance novel, not a chance, right? However, my sister caught me with the book just long enough into it to never forget it and bring it up all the time.
I'm glad she's keeping you accountable.
Still to this day, like we're talking like 20 something years later, 25 years later.
I don't know, Josh. It seems to be a classic case of nature or nurture.
Maybe I'm just a romance novel guy. All right, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna say it. Maybe I'm just a romance guy, novel guy. That's it. I do like rom coms. It's all making sense now.
It,
I'm glad I could talk my way through this with you.
we've arrived.
We have arrived. That was cathartic. It feels good getting that off my chest.
You don't even have to pretend to do the serious books now. You don't even have to finish Murray's book.
Just go straight into my next romance novel.
I get it. He did a lot of stuff. Awesome.
Moving on, pieces of him or reminders of him, whatever. What next one's coming up here? I'm joining all the book clubs with my wife and her friends just to read them.
You're making the recommendations now.
So enough about me. Let's listen to your discipline book there, Andrew.
Well, no sexy scenes here.
Question for you about your books. Do you try your best to implement some of the things that you read?
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
I think otherwise it would be kind of a waste of money. I'll try to key on a handful of things to implement into my life. Some books, like the one I just finished reading, I might actually revisit year to year just to go back and be like, okay, am I doing this?
Hmm.
Or I've forgotten about this and maybe I can, or pull something else in, right? So similar to what you do with your sex scenes, like, am I doing this? Have I tried the one-eyed dragon? So yeah, no, always trying to pull in, and then like Ryan Holiday is someone whose other books I've read, and I was probably gonna stay away from the new ones because again he's just not recycling material, but it's only so new and,
Yeah.
and doesn't really deviate from his theme so much, but they are nice reminders.
Nice. That's good. Do you try and regiment that in with your family?
Yeah, somewhat. So we try to. A lot of it's around patience. A lot of even the discipline one too, though. It's like the discipline to do my thing early in the morning,
Yeah, for sure.
so I have the rest of the day to spend with them.
You said an interesting word that if we take a moment to go back to parenting now is did you, because we all know how like we grew up with the generation of parents that we had. Did you think you'd need as much patience in life of parenting as what we do?
No, and I don't think I would consider myself patient. So it,
You
it has been something I've done a lot of work on, and I'm not fully there. I don't think it's a destination I or other people really ever get to. And you're obviously going to trip up and snap or shoot back a smart comment, but overall, I think I'm way more patient now than I would have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and empathetic too, right? Just under
Mhm.
I'm dealing with smaller smaller maturity cycles, smaller. I mean, I'm going to say smaller brains, but less developed, regular
Yeah, no,
emotions.
for sure. Did you ever, or have you developed something that like if you start to see yourself getting like you, because you can always tell, right? It's funny, like as a parent you can feel like the snap coming on and you might try and talk yourself out of it from doing it, but
Yeah,
you feel it, like it's building up, and then after, especially like, as a new parent, right? You'd snap, and then you'd see, maybe not new parent, because like no one's gonna be screaming at your like 6 month old, but like if you yell at like your 2, 3, 4 year old, you just see that like instant like almost heartbreak in their face, and you're like, oh cool, I'm a piece of garbage.
yeah, yeah, definitely with them, and then even just any kind of curt responses with my wife too. You know,
Yeah.
just understanding if there's attitude coming out my way, it's probably originating from a sense of frustration that might be from my actions, but it's probably just from the littles in the house too. So just understanding like, hey, this is just coming from someone who's really small or someone
Yeah.
who's feeling really small.
I found, and this again, there's something I read this somewhere. I don't even know where it came from, but if I found myself getting super frustrated, now obviously as we get older and you see behaviors, and if someone's just, if your child's just being, you know, mean-hearted or whatever, just being rude or not listening, it's whatever. But if they're going actually like, their brain bucket's filling up and they're having a tough time, is taking a look at their hands. Like I'd look at her hand and it would remind me, oh my god, yeah, this is actually just a really tiny human. Which sounds silly because you have this little tiny human yelling at you in front of you, right? But for me, it was like you look at their hands and you realize that, oh my god, yeah, they are an underdeveloped little human, right? and it was one of those little like a physical mental check for me to bring me back down to reality as I'm starting to steam over something silly, right?
Yeah, I mean they still mispronounce words like crazy, and they don't quite have the same grasp. So it's silly for me to expect them to conduct themselves a certain way. And I mean, I'll run through a mental checklist, and it's like, am I being short? Am I being frustrated because I haven't handled my stuff?
Mm.
And if I haven't handled my stuff, then that's my cue to go handle it. Come back to the table. Okay, I've handled my stuff. Has this person, if they're acting a certain way, have they handled theirs? Oh, okay. If they haven't, what can I do to help support them do what they need to do so they feel more at ease?
Well, yeah, and anything we do now, if we can be consistent with that with our kids, right? Like, I'm a firm believer that every time we get angry and we don't act on it, we are slowly rewiring our brain. So if that's something that we could start young, then it's just trying to build them for success, right? Because life's frustrating.
Life's frustrating. I think it's important to have boundaries though too.
Yeah,
I
like what do you mean?
well, don't freak out at them because again they have small hands. But
Yeah.
I think at the same time, ensuring if they're in the wrong on something that hey they know it's wrong, or if someone else, yeah, whoever it is, be it a child or an
Yeah.
that
Oh,
like
for sure.
this is upsetting because of this. Again, sometimes I'll play devil's advocate with myself a little too much and be like, is it me or is it them? But reality is, you'll have boundaries too that shouldn't be crossed all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Again, we're not going to let them. They're still little, but they're also they are our kids, right? So they're gonna have to listen to the stuff that we're telling them. We're asking them to do at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, even for coworkers or something too, though, right? Just not always being the one that eat the shad fly pie. Sometimes you got to push back and say, "Hey, I'm not hungry for this today."
Ooh, I love it, Dad's Who metaphor. We're bringing it back.
That's who metaphor.
Dad's Who metaphor, and I'd like to still have patience in our children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's awesome. That is that is great. I like where we went today.
I
I don't
know.
know if that. I don't know if this is all where this is the journey that we wanted to, but I feel exposed, vulnerable right now. A lot about myself and some book choices.
That's okay. Hey, we had to get it out.
That's good because I was feeling pretty sluggish. I don't know about you today, but I'm in that time. We're doing some renovations and at a house, and it's just been long days at work and then longer nights, like painting and prepping and doing plaster and yeah, it's one of those things where it's gonna be a grind here for the next few days. So this has been an awesome little break for me.
Well, I'm glad we can help launch your newest book, Sex, Truth, and Renovations.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know what type of book. What type? If you could write, what type of book would you write?
well, I've written a book, Josh.
This is interesting to me and new. So please go on.
I have the children's book, Maui's Big Day.
Oh, that's so right.
That
Um,
that would
yes, you
probably
are a published author.
that would probably be it for now. I don't think I could write like a Ryan Holiday esque or you know what? Maybe later on. Sometimes I get a little uppity, and I think, what an amazing life I've had. Biography eventually, an autobiography eventually, but
I think that's the best. Is like, I would love for like, here you go. Here's Josh is gonna do a like my memoirs. Like someone at shop. I love picturing somebody at Shoppers look over, be like, who the hell is this guy? Right? Like essentially just an absolute nobody writing an autobiography about his memoirs and having it up. Like just walk in and just throw it on yourself. Like not actually have it purchased, but like you just make 2 or 3 copies and put it on there yourself.
it's too bad we didn't have a drone that could just follow us around and like capture all the crazy stuff. Because even though we haven't climbed to the level of success or celebrity as a Murray Sinclair, and he
Yeah.
would even be a C-list, maybe a D-list celebrity, right?
Yeah.
We still have done some pretty crazy stuff.
I'm actually thinking right now that that would actually be kind of like the memoirs of an above average man. Just what a title, right?
Exactly, or even just average. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
the memoirs of an average life lived.
maybe not. I don't know, man. I don't think we're. I don't think we would say. I don't think we're average. Like we're not just sitting at home drinking Pepsi all day.
No, but that would be a good title to catch someone's eye.
What's that? The Pepsi journals.
No, the life of the average life of a man lived, or whatever it said there. Oh, we trademarked it. Nobody can take this from us.
The Pepsi paperback.
I think it would be really cool to. I think not like a children's scary storybook, but like a Goosebumps, right? I
Okay.
think those would just be a ton of fun to write.
Every decision is the wrong decision if you don't wake up at 5 a.m. to do.
I like that. If you're not up at 5 a.m. and have already ran 7 kilometers, go
Yeah.
back to bed. The day is already lost. Just come out with like a David Goggins, like ultra just aggressive positivity or discipline or whatever you want to say that he does. Just one of those, but like just take it one step further.
Yeah, but whenever they like the choose your own adventures,
Yeah.
and it's like if you don't choose the David Goggins mission, the story,
Yeah.
you have to go back and you have to choose the mission always.
Yeah, that's right. Stay the course.
Josh, I think that's a good place to end it.
All right, we're both going to be novelists here at the end of the week.
Yeah. Who knows? Different genres, different
Yeah,
folks.
different paths, but just two dudes that love coming and just dad in life.
Two dads. One is Andrew,
The other one's Josh.
and together,
We are
dads.
who.
Ooh.